Hi guys.
Hi.
My name is David Nuon. I'm a full stack developer at 2U, but by nights I play MacGyver. You can see me at the karaoke bar in Torrance at Max Karaoke, belching out 80 songs. And today, I'm going to tell you about a journey, some of the journeys I've taken, and some of the things I've made with Gutenberg. Gutenberg is a powerful tool, and I'm going to tell you how to play with it. This is MacGyver plays with blocks. All right. It's still early, but it's okay. All right. So MacGyver plays with blocks. So who here is familiar with Gutenberg blocks? Cool. Who here likes using Gutenberg blocks? That's more than I expected, so we're in a good place. All right. So, this guy is great. This guy's my hero. I can tell. This is who I'm challenging today. MacGyver embodies, just a little bit about me and a little extended bios. MacGyver really is someone who I look up to, because oftentimes, I've been de facto CTO of a few companies, and having to lead a bunch of crazy projects. And I think a few of us in this room have been there before, where you're just like, you're given this project and you need to combine this thing with that thing, and with this thing, and you only have 5 lines of PHP and a Sunday to do it. And you're thinking, how do I do this? Well, I was a lapsed WordPress developer myself, and then until I found my way with Gutenberg. Gutenberg has many excellent features that I love, and it's really great. It really lends itself to making a lot of new tools. So here's me with with worse hair back then, talking in WordCamp Riverside about rendering Gutenberg content, native experiences. I don't know who the other guy is. So over there, me and him, we talked about, hooking up Gutenberg to VR and fax machines. I have a little video we'll play. Spoilers, all right. So videos and slideshows is always a perilous journey. I'm not sure if it'll work. All right. So we don't get sued. All right. So we have Gutenberg, before you saw it in CTI. Now we have Gutenberg on a fax machine. Now we're faxing to Gutenberg, and Gutenberg texting. And then here's a Wapoo. And then here's some more people. All right. But anyways, Gutenberg, so there I've demonstrated you can use Gutenberg and power a lot of different things besides just WordPress web posts. It's perilous.
Escape.
Thank you. Well, I escaped too hard. All right, Gutenberg is great. We can all agree there. So, recap about new editor. Gutenberg, the new editor, aka Gutenberg. You have blocks, which are discrete units of content you can go and rearrange around. And the best part about that is, in the classic editor, the only real mode you can think about a post as is this big blob of HTML. But now you can think of your post as a series of blocks, a stack of blocks that you can move together really easily, instead of just having one big blob of text. So here are some Jenga blocks. Jenga blocks. There's a rumor that someone made Jenga blocks flavor Gutenberg blocks somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where to buy them, but if someone knows, please tell the audience later. All right. But today we're going to talk about making some crazy blocks. So here we're going to talk about using blocks to power native mobile content, which is typically what you would see a typical use case. And then we're going to use Gutenberg blocks to authorize interactive content like quizzes, which is quizzes is a legitimate form of news now. And also, a little extra, using Gutenberg into a video production pipeline, which you know, it's if you've ever been on social media, you see those, you know, square videos that says Business Insider. You won't believe how this world has changed. It's like a flying like plane or whatever, and they're all awful except when they're about food. Then they're great. And you know, when they're about food, they're great. I love them. And then I was wondering, and it's something I wondered myself is like, how can you automate this? Because you know, it's very cookie cutter, right? And apparently, a lot of people have spent a lot of thought into this. So you know, I thought this would be very apropos. All right. So later on today, you can go to snackable.app, and it's a great site. It's mainly about junk food and MacGyver. So you know, browse at your leisure after this talk. And also coming soon, there will be a Snackable app, Android app in the Play Store. So please look forward to that. But anyways, Snackable.app. MacGyver memes and junk food. It's great. So when I was building the site, Snackable.app, I did have some guiding principles. All right. First, one of the things was I did not want, I mentioned already, like the Classic Editor had all your posts as like one big HTML blob. And you know, who here in the room is a developer? Okay, so you know, and we've all been before. You know, you scrape a bunch of HTML soup, and then you think it's gonna be a straightforward, you know, a selector to grab like this part of the element in this big list, and it turns out there's like 15 edge cases you didn't account for, and parsing that data is very difficult, right? Well, when I first saw Gutenberg out, one of the things I thought was like, wait, I don't have to define my posts in terms of like, you know, big text blobs, right? I can just use these blocks and then interpret those blocks as the structured hierarchical content, where I can then in turn, you know, interpret that later on. So, you know, I made a little diagram for this. Gutenberg blocks is like this, it's like the thing on the left, and then this is how, you know, I feel about the Classic Editor, you know, because this is the kind of output you get. And you know, when you're building an application and using like, you know, WordPress is like fundamental to your content strategy, it's like, which would you rather work with? You know, a bunch of blocks or just crumpled up receipts? You know.
Crumpled receipts are faster.
You are correct. All right, so.
But it's fixed.
Exactly. So the idea is you have one data source coming on the left, and then you can project it in many ways in different forms. All right. Another thing is in the Snackable app, all the data in the posts is strictly just content, meaning that I'm not using any of the column layouts. I'm not using any of like the presentation layouts because in that scheme is like all of that should be done on the theme side, on the client side, whether it be your native client, a game client, or whatever is ingesting it. So that way, that if you need to make changes to how things are laid out, or you need to make big changes to multiple big sweeping changes to your data, like your content, they're not mixed together, and it'll be a lot easier to reason about. And I'm sure we've all been there before, where you have a bunch of like presentational divs. You go in the code editor in the Classic Editor, and you put in a bunch of, you know, cheeky divs everywhere, and it works great. It works great for like, you know, a year ago, and then when you go back and because your clients or whoever, you know, wants you to look at it, you're like, what did I do again? You know, we've all been there before. So having that discipline where you think of your content strictly as data really, you know, removes that burden from you. It's a little bit more work up front, but you know, it's a lot easier down the road. So I think of it as, you know, the difference is if you're disciplined and you think of your data as content separated from your presentation layer, think of it as a Swiss Army knife. Whereas, you know, if you bundle it all in at once, you know, you get this guy. This guy works great, you know, for the first few months, and then it breaks. All right. And then one thing I love is and I always hype on, is content authoring user experience is paramount. Who here has ever used shortcodes before? And who here has ever used shortcodes to embed rich widgets or data or whatever inside your post, right? And whoever I'm gonna show you something that we've already all probably experienced before. Eventually when you work with posts, right? When you work with posts and you want to do something, a little more complicated, and you want to have rich, because everyone wants that rich, nice media experience. The previous solution, was to compose shortcodes together, right? But when you actually look at it in the output, you end up with something like this. And then this is a little scary to look at, right? And I don't care if you're someone who prefers to edit the code themselves, for this kind of things, because I see 15 places right here where I can make mistakes. And shortcodes can be very temperamental based on how they're implemented, and you put a wrong bar somewhere, and all of a sudden your post is broken, and you get phone calls at 4 in the morning, right? So this is not optimal content edit experience, right? It's too many places to make mistakes, and it's hard to reason about when you're going through and editing content, which is not good, because especially with a very creative, demanding job like authoring content, you want as little cognitive walls as possible. So then, what we're going to look at later is this. So this is a little plugin I wrote for authoring quizzes. You have a sidebar right here where you define your topics, and you can use blocks on the left to author your questions. And there are nice things. For example, the plugin right now requires you that you make all options equally possible, and that's great because that's a rule that's enforced inside the editor. So you don't have a situation where it's okay, the intern foobarred a question and the whole thing breaks because the Mac doesn't work out. And also when you look at it, you see really clearly that okay, here's a question block, here's a question block, here's a question block. Now the good thing about this is that instead of having just a custom plugin or a custom UI interface for editing just quiz content, right? Because these are Gutenberg blocks, you can also do things like embed and insert other Gutenberg blocks installed in your site. So you can do things like, there's no reason why you can put an image at the top, put some copy paragraph blocks below each question, or just what we're going to do later is put a big fat picture of MacGyver at the bottom. But I think, and don't at me, this is a much better editing experience than just editing shortcodes. All right, content types. So in Snackable, there are three content types. The article, normal posts. One thing I found about Gutenberg recently which is a really cool feature, is you can restrict what kind of blocks the Gutenberg editor is allowed to use, which is great because sometimes when your client wants to give you the tools, ask for the tools to work on the site, which sounds great in theory because that's ideally less work for you, but then you realize you left some doors unlocked, and they do something bad and it's all broken. But typical WordPress posts, and the output, the Gutenberg block output is pretty parsable, pretty easily reasoned about, which means it can be interpreted really easily by many devices. There we go. Go this way. Big star for today, quizzes. So in the scheme we have quizzes as a separate post type, because really when you think about they kind of are, because when you're going to consume a quiz, it's some interactive content where you have your reader or consumer actively participating in the content and like interacting with it, whereas a post is more passive, right? And it makes sense to have that separation. But for all intents and purposes, as a normal post, you can use post blocks, like your typical post creation blocks, like paragraph, image, and all that with it. As I mentioned earlier, you have controls in the plugin and checks in the plugin to make sure the quiz is still valid, which, we all make mistakes, and we want to make sure that we have our backs looked after. And also, your generation. So, taking that quiz data, we can spit it out to WordPress, spit it out to a native client, and then interpret that data as a quiz. But why not go a step further and make those fun videos where they ask you questions and a bunch of interrogatory statements, the ones that ask, what time do you wake up in the morning? So in a bit, I'm going to ask for some audience participation. We're going to make a quiz, and then we're going to turn it into a video. All right. And then one thing I wanted to cap this off with is using thinking of WordPress this way. It's not just strictly for presentation, but as a way to just manage your content, right? A system to manage your content is, and having discipline to make sure all the content is separated from all the presentation logic. It allows your data to be consumed by, a bunch of other devices and experiences that you might have. Earlier, I talked about how me and my friend up there, Leo, we used Gutenberg to power text messages, fax machines, VR, and I think there's a TTY in there. But we also can use it for other things like video generation, and I'm sure if one enterprising individual will want to burn onto a toaster. But the reason why this is possible is because the data is very is clean, structured, and easy to interpret, and in a format that can be consumed by and understood by many different devices. So there's no reason why you can't have your WordPress content have an endpoint in the REST API, go and have it be consumed by a serverless function or a serverless function that runs a job to generate PDFs or books or pamphlets or whatever. Or like any games, like if you're a game developer, you want to have all your content in a separate place because games are really complex. So you want to be able to have the authoring team author all the content, and that means like characters, lore, images, and all that, right? While all the game engineers worry about working on the client. And then, if we have a clean contract and clean API between the two, that's what makes big games possible. Because otherwise, if you have a situation where you ask someone, hey, so I tried parsing the HTML again, and it broke. Those are conversations none of us want to have. All right, that's what we got. So the source code will be available here, but I'm not sure if I made it public yet, so I'll just do that really quick. Check. All right. So while I check this, does anyone have any questions before the demo? Cool. Well, let's see. This is embarrassing. Me. So we have all the WordPress code here, settings, danger zone. Thank you. We're on the same page, friend. All right. Cool. Doot. What is this called?
Mobile.
Thank you. Okay.
Red buttons. It looks so dangerous.
Right? We call it the danger zone for a reason. Dude. All right. Double check. Cool. All of the code will be available at github.com/snackableapps. All right. So let's go to some demos. All right. So let's show the quiz. All right. Sergio. Pop quiz. Do you know what Pocky is?
Yes.
All right, cool. Saves me a bit of time. So I have a question. What time do you wake up in the morning?
Oh, 9?
That's a good answer.
I'm proud. Validated.
What kind of burger do you like? Your choices are In-N-Out, Five Guys, MVP, and Islands. What is your favorite Gutenberg block? Paragraph, image, column, or quiz?
Oh, a quiz, clearly.
Good answer. I can't find my cursor. Here we go. What kind of periodic do you like?
Oh, I'm not sure. There's only one right answer.
Yeah. So Leo, could you explain what a periodic is?
It's a dumpling from Poland or Ukraine or Russia.
Oh.
So imagine.
I don't know, but I want to try some.
Yeah. So imagine a dank gyoza.
Well, then.
Beef. You are a vanilla Pocky. All right. So let's go in the back end and see how this works. Oh, I'm not logged in. Damn it. All right. Do.
Just MacGyver BuzzFeed right now.
Right? Oh, there's more. What is my password? Do. I think this is it.
Okay, now you're gonna have to change your password because that's on video. Danger zone.
Exactly. All right.
DH23 capital Z.
All right. So let's go in here. Let's read it again. Make sure. All right. Cool. Edit post. All right. So here's a big picture of Pocky. What time do you wake up in the morning? So each of the questions are blocks, right? Each of the questions are blocks. And, you know, instead of just doing what I did before, what I showed before with the shortcodes, where you're in the classic editor and you're doing a bunch of like weird brackets everywhere and doing choice one for attributes and all that, and you know, having to do a bunch of fiddly bits in order to compose your content. All that's done for you in the Gutenberg editor in these nice blocks, and you know, you can include presentation elements like include results at the bottom. So if you really wanted to, so now let's change it. Let's go here and move to the bottom. Go to the media library. Pick some Cool Ranch Doritos. Update it. And view the post. And you can see we have an image block up here, and we have an image block at the bottom. And the quiz still works. So pick some random options. Vanilla Pocky. So with the rules of the quiz, how it works is each answer to each question is associated with a topic. So, and what it does is it takes the maximum of each of the topics, and then that's the topics you get based on the answer. And what's cool is the Gutenberg API, the data API, it's a bit of a pain in the neck, but once you get past it, you can do cool things like this. If I add a block, if I add a topic here, it shows up for all the questions. So what's another flavor of Pocky? There is a rum Pocky. What time would a rum drinker wake up in the morning?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. is a good one. What kind of burger would a rum Pocky eater like? Burger King. A rum Pocky's favorite Gutenberg block.
The YouTube embed block. They drink rum and watch videos all day.
Nice. Favorite pure oak flavor? Bacon.
Inviting you back over anymore.
All right. So then let's insert a block below the image, paragraph block. Find out what Pocky you are. Are you vanilla? Vanilla AF, we gotta use a vernacular. Are you hella rum? All right. Update. Did we break a client site? No, we're good. Okay. So if I select all the last options we just made, it should deliver rum Pocky. Okay, rum Pocky wakes up at 4 p.m., eats Burger King, likes a YouTube embed block, and likes bacon pierogies. Rum Pocky. All right. So that's all cool and all, but I also said there'd be video. So let's go look at that. So originally, I was going to introduce video generation and importing to like a video editor that will remain unnamed, that costs thousands of dollars. But I think I was like, no, that's a little that's like not a very MacGyver thing to do. So I'm showing an example using all open source software, and you can take this today with a little bit of MacGyvering. In fact, a lot of MacGyvering. With a lot of MacGyvering, and you'll be able to instantiate this and have your own video content pipeline with the code you see on the repo. So I'm using this thing called I'm using a Python notebook to generate this. If you don't know about it, they're great because it lets you have code along with prose and with your notes. So you write self-documenting code, and it's great for one of those things where you're messing with a bunch of code and you're not quite sure what you're doing, like I was. All right. And also for those in the back or wherever where you can't see it very well, let me know so I can zoom in. All right. We good?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So here we have, this is a public endpoint. Everyone can read it. It's read-only, I hope. So here is the URI for the quiz we were working on. And what we'll do is go through and print some blocks about it, print some information about it. So it'll print the title, and then this is what the blocks look like. So this is somewhat human readable, but we're not the ones that are going to be consuming this. The programs and things we build are going to consume this, and this is much far easier to consume than just like a bunch of like this big ball of HTML that just like poke out with jQuery. But anyways, content. So you can see like the 4 p.m. here is something we added, right? And then we can go through and with our client, edit or interpret this content into whatever we want. All right, let's do this little sanity check because we want to make sure our stuff works first, All right, so here's a text-based interpretation of the quiz we wrote. So if you're old school, you can just send this to your line printer. All right. So So I have stories. I can tell you the happiness bar if you're interested. So here, I want to make sure all our quizzes show up. So all our random pocket options are there. Cool. All right. So I'm using this library called Boobie Pie, which is a nice, convenient wrapper around FFmpeg. Because writing FFmpeg on its own is a soul-crushing activity, and this nice light library, abstracts that, which makes it a lot easier. So I have this nice little function that makes a caption, and I have this function right here, this Python function right here that takes it and displays the video. I've been having trouble with caching, so I've had to fiddle with Explorer for a bit. And let's change the text to "Hello, WordCamp, Santa Clarita." And let's cross our fingers. I'm a jerk. So let us look at this and hope it's not cached. Cool. It's a little small. Let's make the font size bigger. Cool. All right, that's a little too big, but you get the point. So what's great about this is that you can take this and deploy it like if when you put something like this, take videos and templates done by your design team or your video production team, and then ask them to put empty spaces for your text. And then you can write a program like this and deploy it on, say like a EC2 instance or a Lambda instance, and on demand just generate these videos, right? And it's great. It's great to have this kind of thing because you can do it for, like, say, building proofs. Like if you ever have to do a quick edit for a proof with a bunch of video, it's also a soul-crushing activity sometimes. But back if you attended Sergio's talk earlier, these kind of things, like those things to do again and again, where you want to automate, right? So I think the important takeaway of this is, if there are soul-crushing activities you do on a daily basis, try to automate them. All right. So we have our data and we have a way to make video. Let's try combine them. So here is a bunch of logic, goes through, makes some stuff, and then it iterates through all the choices, and then on the post there is the topics are saved as metadata on the post, and what it does, it goes through and combines them all in a way that we can interpret later. I'm not going to go into this unless you really someone asks me, but just know, like, what this code does. It just goes through and combines all data together, so we can go through and generate our clips. Let's see if it works. It's going through one by one. Generating clips takes time. And now that the clips are in memory, let's make sure they're there. Cool. I zoomed out. We're good. All right. And then let's generate the video. All right. I don't trust the cache, so I'm just going to, take my destiny into my own hands. All right. So it's very big text. We could spend 5 hours trying to make the text all nice and neat, but we don't have time for that. But what I will do is superimpose MacGyver's face on the background image. So we're going to go in our media library, find this nice picture of MacGyver. I'm going to save image as. I don't remember where I put my stuff. It's good. This is riveting television, people. Snackable. Video. Mackie. Mac.jpg. Save. Cool. How much time we got? All right. And then we're going to open up a certain image editor.
Oh, you're not using GIMP?
No, it runs off at 4K. I wish I were though. Actually, let us. Actually, you know what? It'll be a bit more interesting if I do this. Mac.jpg. So what it does is I originally was going to crop and do nice things with it, but you know, we want that raw experience. So I'm going to go. Oh God! All right. I have a time limit, guys. The bomb's going off. All right. All right. Cool. All right. I am generating content right here. And then I am going through and making sure it's correct. All right.
According to plan, right?
Now that I have all the clips in memory, I'm going to stitch them all together, concatenate the videos together, like how you would in a sequence in any video editor. All right, no errors. And then we will go in here and refresh. Something happened. Oh no, it's too small. All right, I'm gonna go back and change what we did.
Can you play the one you made on Tuesday at Nita?
This is the one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So I cut the wrong wire, but no one died yet. So. All right. All right. All right. Make sure. Okay. Wait. We still have the original video. I will open the not to be named text photo editor. All right. We're gonna find our way back. All right. Cool. Go here. And then we got nice multiply. Cool. Save for web. All right, you know, because you know that's how MacGyver does, right? All right, let's go back. We're going to go through the data, make our subclips, make sure they're in memory. I'm really scared right now. I think my laptop. Oh my God.
I really wish there was a second timer on your battery.
Oh no, there is. I don't want to hear it. Yo, we got it. All right. We got it. Cool. All right, we got 10 minutes-ish. Questions?
Did you use Boobie Pie? You said Boobie Pie for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, all the source code, if you want to look at it and inspect it, they're all on. Oh, my laptop died. Well, yeah. So.
Tweet it out.
So all the code is available on GitHub if you want to inspect it. It's code in a bunch of languages. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to demo the mobile app, but the mobile app is written up there. It's up there if you want to look at it too. And it's a similar kind of experience on the web. You'll be able to like take the quiz also. And it's the repo is a little dense. I didn't put any documentation up yet, so sue me. But
could you possibly upload these to YouTube via their API as well?
So Boobie Pie all it is a method to construct videos.
Yeah.
Like with FFmpeg. So it's akin to asking if why can't OpenShot or the KDE video editor upload to YouTube, right? Because that's not really its job.
Yeah, they're like separately, right?
Yes, exactly. So if one was an enterprising individual, one could have this crazy pipeline where you take your posts, and then plug into some workflow thing that's really complicated, it costs lots of money, and then you take that, and then have this through the approval process where you have 5 people vet it, and then just have the content go through the same method for producing video. And then after that, proof it, and then whatever treatment you want to do with it. and upload to whatever video sources do. But the idea is you have it in code so you can actually build those things that I'm describing instead of just having to have 5 plugins or whatever, try to coordinate together.
So what you're saying is, if I'm an enterprising publisher, and I work for a company called Snapfeed.
Yes.
We're based in Los Angeles, and we make meme content
Yes.
in the Snap portal.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're saying is, I can make meme content in Gutenberg that then appears in video form, that then syndicates out my content everywhere.
Correct. But also, all the code's GPL, so you know, just so you know.
So I can do the same thing for propane accessories. So I could be propane feed.
Exactly. All right. Any more questions?
Working on this one.
All right. Any more questions? Yes.
For those of us who are not developers, would we be able to make square-shaped videos where the written content doesn't run off on the side like the ones you had? How easy would that be for us?
So right now, it's a lot of MacGyvering. But perhaps some other enterprising individual in this room does that MacGyvering and publishes that MacGyvering open source, and then shares that with you.
Or creates a service that's really easy to use.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Any more questions? Oh.
Is it, how possible or easy would it be to have your quiz get several options, and something I'm working on, we be specific here, if you have you'd like to rank your choices among the series of options you're given, and so each time you say, well, this is my first choice, how can I present in the next survey question every option except for the one that was chosen as the first choice? Is that
So the question was, so how to make a kind of questionnaire where you say if you do this, then the second block appears.
yes.
Okay, so that is very possible with the Gutenberg API. Very possible. So I can bitch and complain about the Gutenberg API for days. That's true about anything. I can bitch about anything, but it's very powerful, and those are the kind of features that's really meant for, where you have the ability to describe logically processes like that in your content. However, in order to create that experience, you have to get really familiar with React and the Redux, which is what the Gutenberg API block API uses. But once you get that down, then creating that experience will be relatively straightforward. But it's still a lot of work to do. All right, there's one question over here.
How many times did you practice having the battery die a minute before you finished up on something?
So this is a way of life, because this laptop right here is ridiculously expensive and has a Xeon and a NVIDIA Quadro in it, and it's also weighs 10 pounds. But one thing I always do is forget to plug it in. And when you live that life, you live that life, right? All right, how are we doing on time?
Good. You have 7 minutes.
Oh, sick.
Only had 7 more minutes of battery.
Right, exactly. Okay.
So I'm a competing enterprising publisher with my stackablefeed.com, and I'm really trying to get some competitive advantage. What else could I use the Gutenberg API data to do?
Well, you can use it to make any experience where you need your content. You want to make rich content, and you want that content to behave in a certain way. Because you can verify the correctness of that content in the editor. So that's what is really powerful about the Gutenberg editor is it's clunky, it's weird, you get weird bugs sometimes, but the hope is you can have all these nice APIs where you can go through and make more powerful editing tools, like for example what if you have a plugin where, apparently people really care if you spell WordPress correctly with a capital P. What if you plug in right in your editor where it'll automatically change all your paragraph nodes to spell WordPress correctly? Or you make sure that your images are a certain size inside the editor, and you can have visual feedback for whether that's true or not. Or frankly, if I don't have to write another short code for the rest of my life, I will be more content than anything, because short codes are awful. Sorry. All right. Any other questions?
Where can I get that amazing wig?
I think I got this from Taobao. It was in sketchy packaging, but if you want it, Joe, if you want this wig, you can have it.
I need hair.
Yeah, I mean, I shaved my head in order to wear this wig, so it's a dedication, right? All right. Cool. Any more questions? Yep.
More practically, you said you learned the Gutenberg API throughout this project and a couple of projects you worked on. Cold coming into this, how long did it take you to pick up Gutenberg? Was it a worthy experience, and are you looking forward to using it more in the future, or are you kind of skeptical?
Okay, so it took me about like a week to learn Gutenberg API, but that's because I had React and Redux experience. So most of my experiences with API was fighting the ambiguous documentation, but it's still work in progress, and people were working on it. But about the time, the documentation for Gutenberg API, block API, wasn't very good. But after working with it, because I'm someone, so I was a lab WordPress developer, and I came in right when Gutenberg started happening and people started saying the world was going to end. So as someone who despises the classic editor, I will embrace our Gutenberg future. Alrighty. Any other questions?
Are you going to come out with a version of this where you could have 4 end options but only 2 questions that lead into them? That sort of thing?
If at least 15 people DM me on Twitter asking for that specifically, then yes. so
Just before lunch.
right?
What if I open an issue on GitHub?
I mean, it'll be there. I'll look at it and then I'll ask for the 15 Twitter DMs. All right, I think running on time.
Yeah, if you want to wrap it up, you can wrap it up.
All right, so I will be wandering outside after this. Look for this. Look for this, and if you want a demo of the mobile side or walk through the code, I'm more than happy to. But otherwise, thank you for coming to my talk.